Siddhartha Gautama, also known as the Buddha. In the 5th century BC, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama walked out of his palace and diagnosed the exact root of human suffering. He realized that we suffer because we desire. And desire isn't just a fleeting thought. It is an engine that constantly burns up our energy. The Buddha didn't teach the modern peaceful aesthetic of mindfulness or relaxation. He taught a radical psychological extinction. He argued that the self is an illusion that feeds this fire. His ultimate solution, nirvana, literally translates to blow out. He taught us how to systematically starve our own ego until the fire completely dies. And he didn't just write this down and hide in a temple. He spent the next 45 years walking across India teaching this, not to priests or kings, but to merchants, outcasts, and women. He died at 80, having eaten a meal that made him ill, still teaching to the very end. While the Buddha was putting out the fire, another philosopher was redefining power. Laozi laid the foundation for Taoism. In the West, we tend to think power comes from solid things, walls, swords, and force. Laozi pointed out that the true power of the universe actually exists in empty space. A bowl is only useful because of the emptiness inside it. A room only works because of the hollow space between the walls. He introduced the concept of wu wei, or non-action. But this isn't laziness. It's the physics of water. Water doesn't fight the rock. It simply flows around it, and over time, it erodes the stone to dust. Laozi taught that ultimate power means becoming so fluid and aligned with nature that the world simply cannot break you. A society can't survive entirely on emptiness and flow. It needs structure. Confucius looked at a fracturing, violent China and realized that an isolated person cannot survive the chaos. He built a profound social system, arguing that your identity doesn't exist deep inside you. It exists in the relationships between you and your community. You are part of a massive web. But there is a dark side to this beautiful idea. The emperors of the Han dynasty realized that if people are deeply morally obligated to obey their fathers and elders, that exact psychology can be weaponized. They scaled the family structure to the size of an empire. Confucius built a system of mutual respect, but the ruling class turned it into an inescapable web of absolute loyalty to the state. As the empire tightened its grip, the ultimate philosophical rebel emerged. Zhuangzi looked at the crushing obligations of the Confucian state and realized a terrifying truth. If you are a strong, straight, useful piece of timber, the empire will chop you down to build its palaces. His philosophy was a profound escape plan. He taught people how to become a useless tree. If you're crooked, strange, and lack conventional ambition, the woodsman will walk right past you. Zhuangzi mapped the ultimate way out of the system. You survive a rigid society by refusing to have any of the qualities that society wants to exploit. While Zhuangzi hid from the system, Sun Tzu figured out exactly how to conquer it. The modern world has completely diluted the art of war, turning it into generic advice for middle managers. Sun Tzu didn't write a corporate handbook, and he didn't even really write a book about physical violence. He wrote a masterpiece on human psychology. He exposed that physical warfare is actually a failure of strategy. The greatest general doesn't clash swords. He manipulates the environment and the enemy's own mind so perfectly that the opposing army realizes they are mathematically trapped before the battle even starts. He wrote, "Know yourself and know your enemy. In 100 battles, you will not be defeated." But knowing yourself means understanding your weaknesses, your habits, and your blind spots without illusion. Most armies are not defeated by their enemy. They are defeated by their own self-deception. Sun Tzu taught the world how to make victory inevitable. The darkest, most brutal reality check in Eastern philosophy belongs to Han Feizi. While Confucius believed people could be guided by virtue, Han Feizi looked at humanity and saw selfish, greedy, unpredictable animals. He laid the groundwork for legalism. Han Feizi believed the state had to be a cold, unfeeling machine. He designed a system of absolute terror and reward. He argued that the ruler must remain hidden in the dark, handing out brutal punishments for the slightest mistake and massive rewards for obedience. It worked. The king of Qin read Han Feizi's essays and reportedly said, "If I could only meet this man and walk with him, I could die without regret." He implemented the system. He became Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China in 221 BC. But the machine has no loyalty. He also had Han Feizi arrested and forced to drink poison, a man who understood that much about power was too dangerous to leave alive. Han Feizi was destroyed by the exact system he designed. Centuries later, a monk named Bodhidharma arrived in China and violently ripped Eastern philosophy out of its textbooks. Bodhidharma is the founder of Zen. He looked at massive libraries of Buddhist scripture and essentially threw them away. He argued that reading about the truth is like eating the menu instead of the meal. Legend says he sat in a cave and stared at a blank stone wall for 9 years. When he kept falling asleep, He cut off his own eyelids so his eyes would stay open. Whether history or myth, the message is clear. Bodhidharma stripped away all the religious safety nets. He forced people into the crushing, terrifying silence of their own minds, demanding a direct, raw confrontation with reality. We end with the ultimate mind-bending collapse of reality. In the 8th century, the Indian philosopher Adi Shankara mapped out a concept called Advaita Vedanta, or non-duality. He didn't just diagnose the human condition, he completely erased it. Shankara used rigorous logic to prove that the boundary between your physical body and the rest of the universe is a total illusion. He exposed that there is only one single breathing consciousness in existence. You think you are a solitary wave, but you are actually the entire ocean. It is the most beautiful and terrifying realization in Eastern philosophy. The divisions don't exist, the separate self doesn't exist, and ultimately the thing you call you does not exist at all. 8 philosophers. 8 profound ways of understanding the world. They didn't just write books, they built the psychological foundations that billions of people still live inside today. They built a web of relationships, a powerful void, and a fire that consumes the self. You are currently spending your life living inside one of these ancient ideas. The only question left is, which philosopher built the reality you're standing in right now? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my videos, please like and subscribe to the channel. This is The Visual Philosopher. See you in another video.